it's extremely rare, but I have to start doing this when I talk about college. I had a previous video about my mini rant about Lori Loughlin and Felicity Huffman and their kids cheating. By the way, it's funny. Olivia Jade seems to have disabled her comments on her YouTube for some strange reason, but that's what she deserves. There's another video of the Today Show where Hoda Kotb, I think, and Kathy Lee were praising Lori Loughlin and Olivia Jade as she goes to college. I think it was like from 2017. It's funny. Anyway, they're in deep shit. So, and I'm still thinking about when Jimmy Kimmel still was doing the bit about the college scandal, and then Bob Saget was on earlier this week. That's definition of awkward. So, I have some statistics here this time to back up things, to back up, well, not to back up so much, but to kind of point things out. This doesn't prove anything so much as it just shows what's happening in the world, or at least the United States. So we have college and university education. This is from the National Center of Education Statistics. So this is for 2018. Now, what you are seeing here, bring this up a little closer, is you are seeing from 2000 to 2027 projected. I think this was done in early 2018. So this is projecting it. So this is the number of students of attendance in the US, and these are the years. So 15.3 million students going to college in 2000. Okay. Then we go way up to 21 million in 2010. Then in 2018, we're going down to about 19.9 million. And then in 2027, we should be at 20.5. So it really spiked up here from in 10 years, but then in 8 years, gone down a little bit, and then maybe up to a point, but not where 2010 should be. So that's the enrollment rates. Then we have attainment, basically associates, bachelor's, master's, whatever diplomas you get. So in 2018 to 2019 million, for the millions of students, you have 1 million associates, 1.9 bachelors, 780,000 masters, and 182,000 doctorates for 2018 to 2019. If you go back to 2015 to 2016, you have 939 associates, 1.9 million bachelors, 0.786 or 786,000 masters, and 178,000 of doctorates. There's a higher number of blacks and Hispanics, Latinos, attending by 2% for college universities. So there's more of us are going to college. I remember at East LA College, there were like 3 black students in the entire campus, and that was 1996, 97. So you could count how many, there were like 3 black students. Now there's a lot, way more. But in 96, 97, back then, there was a whole different animal, whole different thing. This is International Student Survey 2017 Hobson's. Now, both of these articles, both of these surveys are in the description below, so you can find those. So let's see. What 5 things are most important when choosing a university? High quality teaching is 30%. So that's like why are students. So there's 5 different columns, but I'm just picking the according to 5 different groups. So I'm just picking the best responses here. But this is like from column 1 of the survey. So high quality teaching is 30%. Scholarships 29.9. Well ranked 23.5. Making friends with immigrants 10.3. So that's the least important reason. The most important reason is high quality teaching, of course. Reasons for wanting to go. Passionate about the subject, 58.4. To continue my learning, 58%. Particular career, 55.2. Everyone else goes, peer pressure, 9.1. So it's the reasonings and stuff like that. So let me give some of my final thoughts so you can see my face. When I started out, my dad wanted me to go to college, kind of used his fist and said, you're going to do these things, My dad would use the back of his hand, which is not the best way to communicate to your kids, okay? I don't have to be a parent to know that, okay? When you lazily, go to work and you pay the bills, you put clothes on your back and everything, but you don't talk to your kids, or you want kids to do things your way and you use the back of your hand. That's not how we do things. So my dad picked out college courses for me for the first 2 years. Fuck, that was rough. And I felt like, what was the point? So I had problems. I had problems dealing with muggers, people who try to mug me and rob me and kill me at night. I had problems with making friends. I had problems socializing with anyone. It was rough. I went through the motions, just whatever, taking classes, getting B's and C's, and the occasional D. Um, my dad would be in a hissy fit, having a bad temper if I got a D or an F in school. I got a couple of D's and F's. I admit this, so if any of my family members see this video, oops, I guess that, but I just don't care anymore. That was 1,000 years ago. So I had a couple of D's, a couple of F's. I had to make up for those in other classes. I had to repeat classes. I had to go through other things. And I didn't really want to go through those things. I mean, I had to hide grades from my dad, a few times during my high school years high school, but college years, from 2-year to 4-year college. That was rough on me as well. Why should you go to college? My dad married at 21 years old, and he did it to prove a point that he could play house and be responsible, have a wife, have kids, have a nice house, pay for things, be an adult. I'm MGTOW. I'm MGTOW for a reason, because women are cunts and women are bitches, except for maybe one, though I'm old enough to be her dad, but she's not like women I've ever met, but who knows where that goes. But I'm MGTOW. I don't subscribe to that. My father, his abusive drinking and his temper, my mother's aloof attitude, and her bitchiness and her cuntiness, and my sisters fighting with each other, that scared the shit out of me. I didn't want to be married to anything. I'd be married to the wall here. Okay, this is my wife. So it was hard for me to really want to go and finish college. What was the point? I went from art major to psychology, then teaching, then animation. I pissed around to try to find myself. And when I got my bachelor's degree, which I think is over here somewhere, if we can find it really quick, it's probably in my other room, but if not, it's over here somewhere. But if I don't see it, I know it's here somewhere, but you're going to have to take my word. I did graduate. I have my bachelor's degree. But it's toilet paper, okay? It's toilet paper because when I went out in the real world, I couldn't find shit. I mean, I said this before, but I couldn't find shit. Nobody would help me. And for years, I went from being this future animator in movie studios and movie companies to going to the unemployment office, and then working at Togo's, and then working at McDonald's, then just going back, then publishing a book with money. I had to work at a hospital for like temporary work, doing case studies. When they try new experimental medications and they pay you a lot of money, that's what I was doing for a little while. I published a book, self-published. I eventually went back to school, but for fun. I just took different extracurricular courses, and then I eventually am doing this now. But I'm going to go back. I'm going to volunteer at a library. I won't say which library if I ever do. If Mackenzie Foy sees this, yes, I am working hard to find a library to volunteer and eventually work in, because I like the nice, quiet, creative life. I'll show you my Gotham City stuff to end on, because it's hard to hold this phone. It's almost done. So my dad, I was trying to say my dad went back to college in his late 40s, early 50s. I think he went back to school just before he turned 50. He got summa cum laude. Summa cum laude is like a high achievement. It's like, when you go to decathlon, you get 4.5 grade point averages and stuff. I'm going to tell you, why do you need to go to college? Well, here's the thing. If you're going to be a pothead, If you're going to hang out with gangsters, thugs, trailer trash, Hells Angels, Mexican gangs, black gangs, Armenian gangs, if all you're going to do is commit crimes, maybe you should go to school and do something. Take a math course, take an English course, take a Spanish course, take a science course, and stop fucking around. Stop, smoking weed all day long. Stop hanging around with gangsters. Stop trying to buy your way through things. Don't do what Lori Loughlin and her daughter did. Don't. One gangster tried to offer me a way to get a diploma. Like, I don't want to owe anybody anything. That's dangerous. So you should go to school if you're not going to do anything else. But let's say you have dreams and ambitions and you're not sure if you should go to college. I think what you need to do is spend some time in the real world after high school and figure out what it is you really want and need to do. And if they tell you you need to go to college um, to do any of that stuff, then you go to college for that. Okay? You have to take your academics. You have to take your math and English and science courses. That's the given. You have to take those. But if there are special courses you take, you go for that for 2 to 4 years, 5 years, 6 years. You get your degrees, and you go out there. You get that job. That job is waiting for you. Great. And if the people, but you have to network. And yes, internships do that. But which internships? Who do you talk to? Who do you speak to? And the idea is to make as many friends as possible. It's like building a city. It all takes time. It doesn't happen right away. So my dad was trying to prove a point that he could go back to school, that he could get teaching credentials. He was going to be a teacher. But he never applied himself once he got the bachelor's degree. He got an Associate of Arts degree, he got a Bachelor of Arts degree, and then he got his teaching credentials, but he never taught at a high school or elementary school. My dad worked in dead-end jobs. He worked as a mortician, then he worked in a government job for about a couple of years, then he worked at Hughes Aircraft and Valley Tactical and McDonnell Douglas, ABO. These are all like aeronautics, spacecraft kind of companies, okay? Working at, remember, okay, there's this, look up on YouTube, Homer Simpson is, Inspector. This was the Simpsons Christmas special of 1989, where Homer's like, That was my dad's job. That's all he really did. And then after he got laid off at McDonnell Douglas, then he worked at a special ed kids schools for years, changing diapers of kids who were about my height and age that are dumb up there. I mean, we're not talking about the actor from Life Goes On and that one actress who was in Family Guy who has Down syndrome, but she's well-spoken and smart, kind of smart. We're talking about kids who are so dumb. They don't know anything. And that is rough. My dad had to go through the trouble of maybe getting sued if he had to put his hands on any of these kids because some of them were destructive and out of control. We're not talking about sweet, innocent Down syndrome kids. Some of these kids are screwed up in the head. I know because I was there at Take Your Son to Work. I was there 18 years ago, and that was tough. So my dad did that kind of work until he was an acting principal for about 2 to 3 months, and then he got sick and died at 58 years old. So this was a man who was abusive and was abused by the system. And in a lot of ways, that's happening to me too. But he got all these high achievements in college. He got, 4.5 grade point. He got A's. He got straight A's because he went back to school and he applied himself. I'm willing to bet, I never seen his report cards when he was a kid, but I'm willing to bet he didn't do that great in high school and college. And if he had, he wouldn't have married my mom, and you wouldn't be hearing me ramble to you right now, would you? I would probably be someone or something else. The fates of God, But, yeah, I'm telling you this because here's why you don't go to college. The summa cum laude, the magna cum laude, the valedictorian, the high GPA, the high SATs, the high marks you get, that doesn't matter. That really doesn't matter. Yes, getting high SAT scores gets you into a big college, but what matters is what are you worth? What is it can you honestly really do? Olivia Jade didn't need to go to college. Olivia Jade was mommy's little girl. She was famous for being famous. She had her own YouTube channel. She had everything going on for her. She could have just said, you know what, I'll go to college later. I'm going to just work on myself and do fashion makeup tips and stuff or whatever. She could have just lived off her mama's money and people would still praise her. They'd call her a lazy bitch, but at least it's better to be a lazy bitch than to be a cheater, okay? And that's exactly what happened. So it's disgusting that all the crap that I went through and I can't find a really good job, and actors and their daughters can cheat the system, work the system for them, while I got physically abused by my father. And if I had to do it all over again, I would have called the cops on my parents and had them both put in jail for that shit. But no, it angers me. So when you see the statistics I showed you, and you see why people, what it really means is you still have to ask yourself, yes, there are going to be increases and decreases of attendance, but why do you go to college? Don't worry about the high marks. If you get a 3.5 GPA, if you get B's and some A's, but don't get F's, don't get D's, but get good grades, because you have to do some kind of job, and you have to need college to go there. You know, there's not much more I can tell you. It's hard to hold the phone, but it bothers me when people cheat. So I wanted to make a supplemental video to the one I did earlier, because I want to make it clear that you don't need college for college's sake. You need college because it happens to be the thing you need to do the thing that you need to do in life. And if you want to run and join the circus, if you want to be a porn star, if you want to be an actor, you probably don't need college for that. You probably take acting school, but you don't need college for that. What you need is just to take the right kind of special schools, and then there you go, where you get discovered. I mean, Olivia Jade could have just been an actress and gotten away with it, and no one would be the wiser, you know? But some people want to prove a point. And the point is, you don't cheat, you don't work the system, you don't cheat the system. It's just disgusting and it's dishonorable. And I think I've had enough. I'm gonna go out and get groceries. But think about what I've said, you know, especially those of you who are graduating high school and you're trying to figure out what's the point to anything. You need to spend some time in the real world. Take about a year or two, you know, take a year, spend some time in the real world, look around you, find yourself in the real world. You know, don't go to college right away. Spend about a year. Take a look at what is it that you can do? What do people say you can do? You know, I was supposed to do track and field because I could run really fast. And people, even coaches were talking to me in high school. Unfortunately, I have a thing called hemophilia, okay? And now I'm taking new medication because that medication is trying to regulate my body. So because of the hemophilia, I can't run track. If you have severe hemophilia, you cannot run. It's not being politically incorrect. It's just a medical fact. It sucks, but that's how life is. So thank you all for tuning in. And if you're in school doing good work and you're working hard, stay in school. When school becomes pointless to you, then, you know, drop out or get your diploma and walk away and do something else, okay? Don't cheat. Don't cheat the system. Don't write on your hand. Don't do any of that. Don't look over someone's paper. Don't be petty. Don't be stupid. All right. Take care and have a good weekend.